Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to commence our service. Can I ask, please, check your phone is off or you flicked it over onto airplane mode whilst you're inside our chapel. And we're starting today with Unforgettable. Thanks, Matt.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, though near or far, like a song of love that clings to me. How the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way. And forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this service that honours the one and only, the completely irreplaceable and the very much loved John Nagy. John, to many of you, but to three lucky young people, from the moment they were born, they had someone very special in their life. It was always in their corner, their greatest fan, and they got to call him Papa. Today we want to look back over a wonderful life. We want to smile if we can and remember all the very best things about him. It won't be a quiet, sedate service because that's not him in any way. He'd want you all to be talking, laughing, smiling, rolling your eyes, whatever you would like to do that makes you remember this amazing man. It's a loss not just for his family, for the whole country, because he was the best welder in Australia. It's a huge loss for the nation. That's what he used to say, I'm the best welder in Australia. we do want to smile today, so thank you for doing that, because too often people see these days full of sadness or sorrow, and you just come here with a very serious face, but that's not what these days are for. They are not filled with grief and sadness and loss. They are actually full of love. You've all come to say thank you to him for the memories that he's left with you, for the stories that he's left so that you can keep on talking about the legend that is John. So to all of you, thank you for coming today to join his family. They very much appreciate you all being here. How do you sum up your dad's life? How do you take 84 years and put it into a couple of pages? You can't cover everything, and that moment comes when you start to write that you realise that you have to leave some things out. But it's an impossible task, but it's also impossible to get it wrong, because his girls' memories are unique. So to talk about their dad, I'd like to ask two of his favourite people, Gabrielle and Monica, to come on up. One's speaking and one's looking pretty. They're the roles that have been chosen.
You're the pretty one. I'm the pretty one. Just in case I didn't know. On behalf of our family, I would like to thank everyone that has joined us here today. Today is the day that we say goodbye to a wonderful man, John Nagy, also known by our family and friends as Janos and Jonchi. It is with great sadness and great pride that I stand here today and talk about and remember my father, our father, a unique man who was certainly one of a kind. Dad was born on the 9th of April 1935 in a small village called Sorki in Hungary to Kish Maria and Nagy József, his parents. He was one of 8 children who were all born at home. First was his sister R.I.P, then brother Joshka, then dad, then sisters Marika and Terci, and brothers Imre, Lotzi and Fadi. He grew up on a farm, but he never wanted to be a farmer, and he didn't like school, but he enjoyed doing the gardening for the teachers. He was an altar boy for a time, and he confessed to us one day, not to a priest, that he would sneak and drink the wine and top it up with water. As a teenager, he worked on a truck delivering orders to local businesses, but he had other career ideas. When he was 21, in 1956, the time of the Hungarian Revolution, he left his home without telling his parents where he was going. As a refugee, he fled to Austria, and from there he went to Sweden, where he got a job and lived and worked on a ship and learnt how to become a welder, a legendary one. He lived on that ship for nearly 2 years. He saved his money and he bought his first watch, a Longines, which he still talked about after 60 years. He had suits made, which he would love to wear and try and impress all the girls. He liked to look good, and he often told us that he looked like Elvis Presley. During this time, Dad's uncle Steve was already living in Australia. His brother Joshka and his family had also emigrated and were living in Newcastle. Dad decided to leave Europe and start a new life in Australia. So in 1958, he got on a ship, an Italian ship called the Castel Felice in Germany, and sailed to Australia. He arrived in Sydney on the 16th of September 1958. Dad lived with his brother Joshka and his family in Carrington, and to this day, Dad said that Carrington had the best meat pies in the world. Like many immigrants, Dad got a job at BHP and worked as a labourer. One day, someone came up to him while he was sweeping the floors and asked if he wanted a real job. So from then, he began welding again and became an excellent welder. And in his words, he was the best. One night in the summer of '62, Dad was supposed to go out with mates, but plans changed and he ended up going to the Seamen's Club in Islington to a Hungarian dance. That was the night he fell in love. It was love at first sight for Dad. Mum was there with her parents. She was only 17. Dad was smitten, and he was 26, and Mum became the love of his life. Romance blossomed, and they spent many Saturday nights dancing at the Anzac House in Hamilton, and after dating for a year, they married in Carrington in March 1964. After a year of marriage and working hard and saving hard, my parents bought their first house in Spears Point. They moved in on their first wedding anniversary. I was born in 1965, and then Monica arrived in January 1969. We lived in Spears Point until 1971. Mum and Dad sold their little house that year, and after saving enough money, we travelled to Hungary for our first big family holiday. We spent 3 months visiting family and friends. I was 5 and Monica was 2. After returning to Australia from this trip, Mum and Dad bought a house in Garden Suburb, which they sold after many years, and built a new home, which is also in Garden Suburb, and Mum still lives there today. Dad was a hard worker. He was a welder for over 40 years, working 2 jobs, 6 and 7 days a week. He was a master of his trade, and he was not shy in telling you so. I still remember Mum taking us to pick up Dad from work on a Friday afternoon. We'd go and buy henny penny chicken for dinner and a beer for Dad from the Matara Hotel, and eat our dinner at the lookout next to the water tank on the top of Scenic Drive. And I'm sure we had a collection of Matara Hotel beer glasses at home. Dad loved to socialise. We had many parties at home with family and friends most weekends. There was always plenty of food, beer, wine and palinka, and that's when the singing would usually begin. He knew and still remembered so many Hungarian songs. He also loved to play cards, and I remember them gambling with pennies and then 1 and 2 cent pieces. Mum and Dad also loved dancing and went to the Germania Club in Hillsborough. And I remember how excited Monica and I were when they came home, because they always brought home the decorations, the balloons and streamers. They also went to Hungarian dances at the Police Boys Club in Broadmeadow. Monica and I will never forget our childhood. We always had pets. We had dogs, cats, budgies and cockatoos, which Dad taught how to speak and swear in Hungarian. I'll leave those bits out. We used to go camping in all the school holidays, and for years we went to Nundle, Seal Rocks, Stroud or Burrell. There were more than 10 families that would go, and we roughed it on friends' properties with no power, no showers or toilets, just holes in the ground and boiled water in a bucket to wash ourselves, and we loved it. All of our fathers would go up a week earlier and mow a huge paddock in the middle of nowhere for our campsite. Another highlight in our lives was another 3-month holiday to Hungary in 1980. We loved those trips, not just because we got to see our grandparents, aunts, uncles and cousins, but because we got to get out of school for 3 months. We had so much fun growing up, we never went without. We had tons of Lego and dozens of Barbie dolls, and even had a slot car set. What more could a child want? Dad played soccer when he was young, and people thought because he was Hungarian that he would be like Puskás, the legendary player of the Hungarian Golden Team, but Dad said he was never that good. Instead, he wanted to be a linesman so he didn't get any injuries. He also loved watching boxing and wrestling, and I still remember some of their names, Killer Kowalski and Mario Milano. Dad also loved watching the tennis, with Andre Agassi and Roger Federer being his favourites. He also watched the European and local soccer. His favourite team was Sydney St George Budapest. He and Mum went to watch many games, and locally he went to nearly every game of KB United. He loved watching movies, especially anything with John Wayne or Clint Eastwood. His favourite movies were westerns. He was always talking about different movie stars and didn't quite pronounce their names right, like Kurt Russell, Nicole Coleman, Jack Human, Horny Goldie, Charleston Heston and Shirley Temper. We always had a good laugh, even though he was being serious. Dad was a great provider and a strong believer in working hard and saving and paying cash for everything. He taught us how to work hard and save as well. And even after retiring at the age of 60 due to a heart condition, he never stopped. He helped us and would do anything for his daughters and their families. He worked so hard, he helped Michael and I renovate and build several houses. His trailer that he welded and his tools got a good workout, that's for sure. And we could never ever thank him enough for all of his blood, sweat and tears. His family was always number one. We could always count on him for anything. If we needed something, he had it. If something needed fixing, he could fix it. You never had to ask him twice. Dad had every tool and spare part you could ever imagine. The garage was like Bunnings. Whatever he made, it usually weighed a tonne and it was built to last. He even made some interesting tools that could do unique jobs. He was very clever, creative, inventive and a problem solver. And I'm sure he will weld and repair the pearly gates if they need it. He loved Australia and always said it is the lucky country. He was also proud of his Hungarian heritage, which he instilled in us. He missed Hungary, but said he would never go back there to live because Australia was his home. Sadly, due to ill health, Dad spent the last few years of his life at Garden Suburb Uniting Care, and didn't everyone just love and spoil him there? The care, the love, the attention and the compassion he received was overwhelming. All of the staff, the carers, the nurses and doctors were incredible and just like family to all of us. He could still enjoy his red wine, but he wasn't fussed on the orange juice unless it had Parlinco in it. We can never thank these beautiful people enough for all that they did for us and for Dad to make him feel at home and comfortable with their love, dedication and big hugs. He was a proud, hard-working man and would do anything for his family. He lived for them and for Mum, his devoted and loving wife of 55 years. He adored his 3 grandchildren, Jordan, Luke and Danielle. He was also immensely proud of his 3 son-in-laws, Mario, Obi and the late Michael. Dad, you are at peace now. We will love you till our dying days and never forget you, and we'll miss you terribly. And it breaks my heart to say this, but goodbye, Dad. Rest in peace. And in Hungarian, Szerbusz apu, fáj jó szívvel, búcsúzunk tőled, nyugodj békében.
Wonderful, girls. You did a great job. To share the words of a poem, I'd like to ask John's son-in-law, Obi, to come on up. Thanks, Obi.
I just had a poem that I found the other day that I thought would be really nice to share. But just a bit of humour. I can imagine Papa or John up at the pearly gates now trying to explain that his name is Jonsi, and they're asking, St. Peter's asking him, now who's John and who's Janos? Because your passport, your driver's license, and your birth certificate are all very different. So good luck on that one. And I had a good laugh once. We had an Oktoberfest at our place a couple of years back, and I thought I was quite impressive because I had these 3 beers on tap that I brewed, and they were really special. I had a Munich lager, and I had a Belgian ale, and I had a Belgian German wheat beer. And he was looking at them, and I thought, which one would you like, Papa? And he's looking at them, and I was really impressed. He says, I want all 3. So I thought, well, he wants 3 glasses of beer. And he said, no, I want you to put all 3 in one glass. So much for being a beer connoisseur. So hope I can get through this. But I just thought these were really good words, and they meant a lot to me, and I could relate them to Papa as well. And do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on the snow. I am the sunlight on the ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry, because I am not there, I did not die. So I can just see him looking down on all of us, because he's not in his grave, and he never will be. It will only be his body, but his soul and his spirit will be looking down on us forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Obi. You know, that poem that you recited was actually written at the turn of the century by a lady named Mary Fry. She had a young girl staying with her, a young German girl who had found out her mum had passed away in Germany and she couldn't return home for the funeral. And those words were written at a kitchen table on a brown paper bag to show the girl that it doesn't matter where you are, someone is always with you. I know you'll understand that for his grandkids it's a little too hard for them to stand up here today. Their hearts are pretty full. So it's my honour to share this little poem that they wanted to have for their papa. Our hero, our papa. You held our hand when we were small and caught us when we fell. You're the hero of our childhood and our later years as well. And every time we think of you, our heart still fills with pride. Though we'll always miss you, Papa, we know you're by our side. In laughter and in sorrow, in sunshine and through rain, we know you're watching over us until we meet again. We're going to take a little pause in our service now because photographs, they tell a story. Their memories all strung together to show you what a life well lived looks like. These are all the memories that make his girls smile. These are the ones that, when they look at them, they think, I love that photo of John. So sit back, please, and share in this little journey through 84 years with his girls. Thanks, Matt.
Az édes anyámnak a haja fehér, mint a hó, oly hajlott, oly megtört, oly szent, oly önfeláldozó. A legjobb falatot a szájától vonta meg. Nőttek a gyerekek, de ő közben megöregedett. Egy őszhajú asszony, a kabátkán csupa folt, mert egyetlen kincse a fiam mosolygása volt. Ó, mi koldus és árva vagy nélküle, mert őt pótolni nem tudja senki sem. Ezt a jó szívű őszhajó asszony, az egyetlen édes anyám. Gyorsan csókold meg elfáradt homlokát, nem a sírjára kell néki 100 virág. Addig gondozzad, ápoljad, óvjad az egyetlen édes anyád.
The sweet, sweet memories you gave of me, you can't beat the memories you gave of me.
Take one fresh and tender kiss,
The memories you gave of me.
add one stolen night of bliss.
Can't beat the memories you gave of me.
One girl, one boy, some grief, some joy, memories are made of this.
The memories you gave of me.
Don't forget a small moonbeam,
Can't beat the memories you gave of me.
fold in lightly with a dream.
The memories you gave of me.
Your lips and mine, two sips of wine. Memories are made of this.
The memories you gave me. Then at the wedding bells, the one house where lovers dwell. 3 little kids for the flavor. Stir carefully through the days. See how the flavor stays. These are the dreams you will savor.
With his blessings from above.
You can't beat the memories you gave me.
Serve it generously with love.
You can't beat the memories you gave me.
One man, one wife, one love, through life. Memories are made of this.
Can't beat the memories you gave me.
Memories are made of this.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. You have made my life complete, and I love you so. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me long, take me to your heart, for it's there that I belong and will never part. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will. Love me tender, love me dear, tell me you are mine. I'll be yours through all the years, till the end of time. Love me tender, love me true, all my dreams fulfill. For my darling, I love you, and I always will.
That was wonderful, all of those memories in there. The black and white photographs are always my favourite. They just take us back and they remind us it wasn't always your dad, it wasn't always 84, it wasn't always your papa. He once upon a time was a young boy, a young man embarking on a big adventure to come over here. John was not shy. He was forthright and straight to the point and said what he thought. He was proud. He liked being the centre of attention. He liked to talk himself up. He was confident. He was a hard worker his whole life. He could fix anything, repair anything, make anything, except his car. He didn't touch his car. He loved fishing back in the day and camping. He loved his soccer, St George Budapest in Sydney, KB United. And I said to the girls, well, when the World Cup's on, who does he cheer for, Hungary or Australia? And they said, well, if Hungary's playing, he cheers for them, and if Australia's playing, he cheers for them. He loves both. He only ever read the newspaper to read about the sport. He was very proud of where he came from, but this was his home. He was proud of his heritage. He loved the music, the food, family, but he also loved Australia. He travelled back to Hungary 4 or 5 times, and he loved it because he could immerse himself in the social side of things and see family and reconnect. He adored his grandkids. They were his number one. Danielle was his princess. He loved all his family. What we hope is today that you'll stay a little longer. It's Friday afternoon. You have no excuse to rush off anywhere else, because what those who are missing him the most hope is you can join them across the road. They just want to spend some time with you. They want to listen to your stories. They want to share in your memories of their husband and their dad's life. Every single memory is precious, and when you come to tell them something, please do it with a big smile on your face. Don't say his name with sadness, because that's not what he would wish in any way. The John that you knew is different from the one that anyone else knew. Your memories are very precious. So please know you're all close enough friends, you're all close enough family, and we hope you all stay. Mother Nature took the strength of a mountain, the majesty of a tree, the warmth of a summer sun, and the calm of a quiet sea. The generous soul of nature, the comforting arm of night, the wisdom of the ages, and the power of eagle's flight. The joy of a morning in spring, the faith of a mustard seed, the patience of eternity, and the depth of a family need. Then she combined all these qualities, and when there was nothing left to add, she knew her masterpiece was complete, and so she called it Dad. You had one of the very, very best. And you know, even though you can't see him anymore, he's still that gorgeous bloke you picked up at the dance over 50 years ago. He's still your dad, he's still your papa, he's still your brother, he's still your uncle, he's still part of your life. Those memories don't go anywhere. But as a final way to honour him and to thank him for every time he's made you smile, as we close our service here in the chapel, can I ask, if you're able, would you all please stand? John Nagy, in love and respect, we have remembered your life and recalled the person you have been. In this final act, in sorrow but without fear, your character and personality we commit to our memories. Your love and your friendship we commit to our hearts, and your body we commit to its natural end. We are so grateful for the life that John has lived and for all that his life meant to those he loved and those who loved him. We now leave him in peace, and with love and respect we bid him goodbye, but only until you see him once more.
Say goodbye, my own true lover, as we sing a lover's song. How it breaks my heart to leave you. Now the carnival is gone. High above tears are falling rain, for the carnival is over. We may never meet again. Like a drum, my heart was beating, and your kiss was sweet as wine. But the joys of love are fleeting, for Pierrot and Columbine. Now the harbor light is calling. This will be